the lead lap. The Bodine brothers, Bill Elliott, Harry Gant, Sterling Marlin, and Kenny Schrader.
After a season of hard driving action,
Man, I sure could use a vacation.
join Rusty Wallace, Ernie Irvan, Kenny Wallace, and other NASCAR personalities for the ultimate race fan vacation. Enter the 1992 Miller Genuine Draft Racing Cruise Sweepstakes and win a week-long all-expense-paid cruise for two to the Caribbean, where you'll sail in luxury aboard the SS Norway of Norwegian Cruise Lines. You'll fly round trip to Miami, your port of departure to the exotic world of St. John, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. Or win a Miller Genuine Draft Racing jacket, T&N cooler and cap. Or win an Inside Winston Cup Racing t-shirt and cap. No purchase necessary. To enter, send your name, address, and phone number on a postcard to Miller Genuine Draft Racing Cruise Sweepstakes, Post Office Box 10371, Stamford, Connecticut 06904. You must be 21 or older to win. Entries must be received by November 17th. Winners announced November 28th on Inside Winston Cup Racing.
We've had old Blaze for 16 years. I mean, this old Blaze. My husband uses it for all of his hunting and fishing trips. He and the dog absolutely love that car. Someday, when even AC Delco parts can't keep it going, we'll just park it out back so he and the dog can sit in it and reminisce.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
Welcome to BKTV. It's new. It's dinner baskets. You gotta check it out. Dinner at Burger King.
Chicken, shrimp, steak, Whopper.
Only at Burger King. Only 4 to 8 where you get the table service. It's your way, right away. I love this place.
All year long, it's been hit or miss for Johnny Benson Jr. and Mike Eddy. The two have played tag in an exciting ASA season. Now it all comes down to one last meeting. Whoever takes the checkered takes home the championship. Is this Mike Eddy's lucky number 7, or will young Johnny Benson stop him in his tracks? It's going to be a fight to the finish. The showdown in Jennerstown. The ASA AC Delco Challenge Series Oldsmobile 400. Today, 5 p.m. Eastern, only on TNN Motorsports.
Richard Petty in his 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner. Petty won 16 races that year and finished 3rd in the point standings. The event of the year, Alabama. Tribute to Richard Petty. Special guest Joe Diffie, and a lot of us from the TNN crew will be there in a live 3-hour concert from the Georgia Superdome. Join us Saturday night, November 14th, 7 p.m. live right here on TNN, the Nashville Network.
That was Richard. We saw it at his right window. He's passing Bill Elliott. That shows you how good those tires are. He just put on 4 new tires. He's driving by Bill Elliott, and all the way couldn't keep up with him.
Dale Earnhardt and Bobby Hamilton have both just made pit stops. You're watching Terry Labonte leading. Alan Kulwicki right there for 12th place. If the race ended right now, it would be Mark Martin up to 2nd place in the Winston Cup point standings. Things change fast. 63 points would be the difference going to Phoenix. There's Labonte, Wally Dallenbach splitting him from Alan Kulwicki. Kyle Petty leading by 11 seconds over Mark Martin. At 3rd place, here's Ernie Irvan in the Kodak car and Ricky Rudd in the Tide Chevrolet of Rick Hendrick. Derek Cope running with them. 3rd and 4th place here. And now watch, you'll see Bobby Hamilton come up into this picture in a second. As you said, Hamilton just got fresh tires. There he is, that bright yellow Country Time car. He'll gain right up on those 3rd and 4th place cars.
We saw him just a minute ago coming off the corner by the other leaders and almost sideways. And here he comes. You know, that's not him in that shot, but his car is flying. Anybody that puts some new tires on is flying on this racetrack. They're falling off almost a second in 10, 12 laps.
That's the Greg Sachs car right there rather than Hamilton, who is gaining fast. 3rd place at stake right there.
You know, you get those new tires and you say, well, we made the adjustments on that pit stop we needed to do. I'm in the business down about 15, 20 laps later, you're going, uh-oh, with all tires.
Let's go back to 6th place here. Brett and Jeff Bodine. I don't know if we'd call this the race for 6th. I think we would. You're up and on the outside. That is not Brett Bodine. It's Richard Petty, of course.
With those new tires.
Yeah, and so he's going to go right on by those cars racing for 6th place. He's past Jeff Bodine. That's Mike Skinner on the inside. And he's coming up on Brett Bodine fast.
Like Buddy said, boy, you feel like you've cured all your problems when you bought $1,000 worth of tires on that thing. The only problem about 20 minutes from now, you need another set.
I was driving for Hoss Ellington here one time. We had so many yellow flags. He said if I threw another one, he's going to go up the flag stand and steal it and run with it.
Cost him money every time you stop.
Sterling Marlin and Kenny Schrader. That's 10th place, and look who is right behind them.
And coming in a hurry.
Yeah, but Schrader's been there for quite a few laps.
Yeah.
He just in that mirror, he turned the wick up, I'm going to tell you.
Right behind them. Here comes Mr. I'm going to stink up the show. Hey, you can't blame him. You run as well as that car will let you. And that's just what Kyle Petty is doing.
You think maybe we could send a message to Felix to call on his radio and tell Kyle to back down the pace just a little bit?
I think he just did, but I don't think he'll make the call.
That's right.
Felix, does it hurt when you laugh? Well, he's got plenty to smile about right now. Kyle Petty has led every lap of this race except when he has made pit stops.
Boy, Schrader's trying everything he can do. We saw Kyle run him down a while ago. Kenny, here comes Winky making a stop.
I believe this is his 3rd stop today. No, 2nd stop of the day, excuse me.
I think they're letting their stopwatches tell them when to pit today.
Steve Evans is there.
Alan Kwiatkowski smoothly into his pit stop. We'll watch for any chassis adjustments. We have not seen many, really only on the Petty car. 11 gallons of gas per can. Tires on all 4 corners. Kwiatkowski anxious to exit here. So far, who would have believed? Just a green flag laps of Rockingham. What did I repeat? Oh, Kwiatkowski may have shared something in the drivetrain. When he let the clutch out, it may not have low gear. It may be missing even more than that. Kwiatkowski limps out of the pit.
Boy, it sounded like he buzzed the motor, Steve, when he tried to get it in gear.
Steve is exactly right. You can see the rear end hop up and down. I thought he sheared the rear, just like Steve said. It must have been low gear out of the car.
That is Kwiatkowski's 2nd pit stop, and it was a scheduled stop. He's gone 72 laps on each of his green flag runs.
We saw that in all the things that can happen in racing. Looked like he dropped the clutch at the exact time the tire hit the ground. You could do it 100 times. Usually the tire's on the ground. It looked like it all happened at one time, and it really gave it a big jolt. It must have sheared something in the transmission.
There's Kyle Petty. He has lapped Kenny Schrader. Let's go back down to Steve Evans.
Paul Andrews, crew chief for Alan Kwiatkowski. It sounded like maybe it shared low gear.
Yeah, it sounds like we lost first gear. We're really not sure what happened exactly. Alan wasn't even sure. We'll just have to see next time we stop, you know, or when it locks up, we'll find out.
That could be a little hard on the clutch when you have to slide the clutch to get out of the pit.
Yeah, it is. You know, taking out in 3rd or 4th gear is not going to be good for us today, especially on these green flag stops. We're going to get their car run a little bit better right now. You know, the Hooters Ford's running a little off the pace right now, but we'll see what happens. It's a long day yet.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Mike Joy has a replay.
Let's have another look at what happened to Alan Kwiatkowski there on pit road.
Okay, got the car up there. We'll get the shot on us. And they dropped it just the minute he dropped it. See the rear end spin, and then it quit. He's got the clutch out. We heard the motor rev, real high RPM. Something broke, or either jumped out of it. Either had to shear it or just jump out of gear. But he couldn't get it going.
Well, the one thing you got to worry about is where those pieces go. When you say you dropped the gear, something happened to shear all that stuff off, and it's floating around in there trying to get more gears now.
Plus, they've got a telltale on the tack in these cars, so Alan knows just how much he buzzed that motor and if it might have been hurt. You know, you miss a gear. Is that the dumbest feeling in the world or what? You know, when you miss a gear and the motor goes way up and you go, oh my God, what'd I do?
That is a dumb feeling, but he had it gear. When it activated, it pulled just a little bit, and then it turned loose like something broke in there.
I tell you, the weak link in our motors nowadays are the valve trains. And that hammers the springs at big RPM, and hopefully it didn't hurt it.
Kyle Petty trying to put a lap on Sterling Marlin here, the 10th place car. There's a look at your top 5 unchanged. And back to Marlin in 10th spot, about to go a lap down.
To qualify, 49 state winners hooked 49 prize bass. Now only ounces separate these anglers, and $50,000. Big Bass World Championship, Saturday, 2 Eastern on TNN.
Special smiles are one of life's pure joys. Sometimes it's your smile. Sometimes it's the smile of others. That's what you get back when you contribute to the Virginia Special Olympics. We need your help for these heroes. Together we win. To contribute, call 800-932-GOLD. Virginia Special Olympics, celebrating 25 years of special smiles.
Indian River Sports Travel invites you to select your own seats at all Redskin games this season. We offer complete packages that include your ticket, transportation accommodation, meals, entertainment, and plenty of action-packed excitement. Complete NFL packages from around the league. Indian River Sports Travel can connect you with other major sporting events, including live NASCAR racing, NBA basketball, professional hockey, and more. See the difference. Call Indian River Sports Travel, 523-5551, your sports connection.
The race of the day is at 6th place, and it's been a good one. The Bodine brothers holding forth. There's Jeff, left side of your screen, working that white car. Harry Gant is right with him, and Bill Elliott behind as Darrell Waltrip comes down the pit lane you saw there. They are going past the Jerry O'Neill car. Now Brett Bodine has gone off and left these two to battle. There he is. Left him at 6 car lengths, is leaving him. Okay, 3 car lengths.
I tell you, if you're in that second car there, it feels like 25 car lengths, because you're trying your heart out and the guy starts pulling away. That's got to be the worst feeling in the race.
Bill Elliott's in the picture too there. He has led a lap today.
Gant's able to get outside. The key is, can he go on around? When he takes that outside lane away from the 15 car, he takes some of his usable room, and it slows the lap times. He went right on by.
6 drivers in the thick of the point battle. The season ended here at Rockingham back in 1973. 5 drivers went into that last race with a chance to win the title. Benny Parsons won it with a bang-up, torn-up race car over Cale Yarborough, Richard Petty, Cecil Gordon, and James Hilton. Somebody's going to lead this halfway lap. I hope you haven't already written Kyle Petty down. At least use pencil. It has an eraser on it just in case. But if you know who led the halfway lap and you have entered the Gillette Halfway Challenge, you could win a new Chevy Lumina. There's the address to enter next week's contest. Davey Allison on pit road, the point standing runner-up. The race ended now. He'd be back in second place, but only by 1 ahead of Mark Martin. 4 tire stop. Again, scheduled stop here at lap 158. Davey.
Made those chassis adjustments, didn't anybody?
Yeah, it's good to see him back healthy again. You know, he had to run Velcro on his glove and on the steering wheel, and also on the shifting lever to be able to do everything he needed to do for the last few races. He's back to normal again.
Boy, I tell you what, he's coming out of the pits and ran up on a car with a back straightaway has a pit also. Davey ran up on a car going in the back pits and almost had to stop.
Yeah, it's like merging traffic on a highway when you've got an exit going in and then you've got an entrance ramp coming on. Ricky Rudd is off the pace just a bit. Alan Kulwicki just went on past. Remember, Ricky has not yet made a pit stop. Alan has fresher tires, but there's a report of perhaps a mechanical problem on Rudd's car, perhaps an oil leak.
Oh, man.
We'll check on that.
It's awful early in the race to have an oil leak. If you have that kind of problem this early in the race, you can just about bet it won't go the distance without running out of liquid.
They carry about 24 quarts of oil in these cars, and as long as this race is, it can use it up before the day's over.
Back in 6th place, Harry Gant has gotten around both Bodine brothers.
1.5. He's run one, he's working on the other one right now. And now you can call it 2. He made it.
Yeah, but look at Brett. He's going about, well, he's trying to go by little brother.
Yeah, Jeff said, that looks pretty good on the top. Let me try some of that. And here comes Brett Bodine right back on the inside again.
Notice Harry's doing his passing on the high side now.
It's a shame you don't have a camera like we got to look at inside your race car. You see where your strong points are and use them every lap.
You want to see a strong point? Look at Davey Allison. We just lost him in shot. Davey was coming up on those guys on new tires.
Yeah, Davey was right there. Here's Mark Martin. Look at that tire and suspension as it flexes.
It's good. Look at the sparks. There we are, the brakes. We mentioned before about having metal brake pads on. It's like people say, well, why would you have metal brake pads? A set of regular pads or any kind of heavy-duty pads would wear out in 10 or 15 laps in this race. You strictly go metal to metal because that's the only thing that will go 500 miles in these cars. And look how thick they are. You can see in there, the brake pad starts out at about 1 inch thickness. Each pad is about 1 inch wide. And at the end of the race, there'll be about 3/8 of an inch or a quarter left.
Leader on pit road. Kyle Petty, Ted Musgrave, Rusty Wallace are also in, and Terry Labonte.
This means there's a faster car on the track finally than this one.
You're right, or he wouldn't be in this early. Steve is there.
Kyle Petty is indeed in the pits with his second set of tires of the day, and that's all they're doing besides fuel the automobile, clean the windshield. The jack man comes screaming around. Those are special lightweight jacks. Do not try that at home with your auto parts. The bottom line, get a hurdy out of the deal. So it's a perfect stop all the way around. And let's remember, Kyle qualified on the pole, but he can win this race over $98,000 in bonus cash from Unical.
Ricky Rudd is in. Ernie Irvan, Rick Mast, Morgan Shepherd, Jimmy Spencer all on pit road. Jeff Bodine.
That's got to be a bad feeling for the rest of the team. He's beating them on the track, and then they throw a 4-tire stop at him in 18 seconds. That's unbelievable.
Jimmy Hensley working up there against Mark Martin. And Bill Elliott, the point leader, is on pit road. Mark Martin is also in. The second place car. And the number 4-point man. Watching what Mark Martin sees as he comes in.
Just watch him snatch his wheel off the right front again. See, slide in there and stop. Okay, going up on the right side. See him lifting it. There it's off. There's the right side tires on it. Put a little bit of bite in the right. If they could bite out, maybe he was going down on the right here. Might be a little tight.
That's easier to adjust and trying to guess how much bite you need. It's easier to take bite out of the car. It keeps the balance better.
22 seconds.
Oh, I tell you that. A while ago, I thought that it was 18 was good by Kyle Petty. That's unbelievable. 18 seconds, 4 tires. Here they are with a good stop, and they lose 3 seconds.
Harry Gant and Kenny Schrader are making pit stops. Mark Martin back out.
You know what happens there? That's like a pep rally almost. These guys are waiting on that lead car to come in. They're all jacked up. We can't let him down. We can't let him down. Guy running second, losing ground. They're not quite as pumped up as Kyle Petty's outfit. You don't have the times in the pits that he does.
Momentum.
A lot of mental in this business, believe me.
Kyle Petty, talk about bad news for the rest of the field. He has made his pit stop without losing the lead. The last 5 races, he's picked up 800 points, 802 points, more than any other driver.
That's hard to believe in that many races.
It's coming strong. For 10th place, Bill Elliott and Harry Gant. They are 16 seconds in second place between Kyle Petty and Mark Martin, who hung on to second place. We'll update you when Ricky Rudd made that pit stop. It was a completely routine spot, routine stop. So
I think what happened, we had so many cars on the track with new tires, and he didn't, that they were going by him so bad. It just looked like he was falling off the pace. You stretch your tires out now, you pay the price.
I tell you, when you're out there on those old tires like that, you squall like a tomcat trying to get something new on there.
Yeah, something's happened to this car. We got to fix it.
Rudd is third, Ernie Irvan fourth, right there.
Here we go. Going to try 3 abreast down the back straightaway. Thought about it. Pull back in line.
Derek Cope up on the outside.
Irvin gets up under him right here off the corner. Do this down the straightaway. Right down here, somebody's got to give.
Got to give a little bit.
They did. They gave a little bit of orange paint to orange paint there. That way you can hit a guy and you can't tell.
Yeah,
Same
right.
color car.
So Ernie Irvan moves up to third. Ricky Rudd in the 4th spot. 171 laps complete. Dick Trickle making a pit stop in the Snickers 4. And there is the leader all alone. Kyle Petty over Mark Martin, Ernie Irvin, Ricky Rudd, and Rusty Wallace, the top 5. And back for 10th spot, Harry Gant. They're all on the lead lap. Richard Petty's won here 11 times. Fellow who has yet to visit victory lane at the Rock. Buddy Baker. We asked Buddy how he felt about Richard denying him so many times.
You know, Richard was, at this particular racetrack, he had everything going for him. He won 11 times. And, I mean, you think about that. A lot of people don't win 11 races in a career, and he won 11 here at Rockingham. So I've had chances to beat him, but I never won here at Rockingham. And had it not been for Richard Petty, I'd been a 3-time winner already.
Well, I drive a race car for a living. I depend on the parts and pieces in my car. And I feel so confident knowing that Pennzoil is protecting the moving parts inside of my engine. Pennzoil's quality and protection give me the confidence I need to do my job without second thought. The protection that Pennzoil offers this race team makes us feel great. That's why I have the confidence to use it on the street and in my race car. I recommend Pennzoil to everybody. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
Today, performance cars come in a variety of designs, sizes, and even prices. So do Goodyear Eagles, the world's most successful line of performance tires. There are all-season Goodyear Eagles, new ultra-performance Goodyear Eagles. There are Goodyear Eagles for the classic and for the contemporary. No matter what performance car you own, there's a Goodyear Eagle priced for you. It's another reason we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Folks in these parts think Tom Lawton is the best thing to ever turn a wrench. But back east, they'll put their money down on the guys at McClellan's. It seems in every town there's always one place that does a little bit better job fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts. Look for the sign of quality car repair. Napa.
TNN Motorsports exclusive live coverage of the AC Delco 500 is brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Riding with Rusty Wallace as he tracks down Brett Bodine for 5th place here. Continue the battle. Rusty handling well, but look at Brett stretch him out a little bit down the straightaway. Now these cars are only a second and a half away from being lapped. There's Kyle Petty right up behind them. There's Kyle lapping Jeff Bodine, the 9th place car. Is he on a tear?
I'm telling you what, that's awesome, boys. When you see a car gain like that, he passed Brett Bodine, Jeff Bodine, like he was tied to a stick.
He's after Bill Elliott right now.
Let's check with Steve Evans.
Well, Rusty Wallace had a good run going. He may now, however, be riding a sick horse. Buddy Parrott, some engine problems with Rusty's car?
Well, we really don't know. You know, we may have just a plug wire burn or something on the header. We made that last pit stop, and he called me about 10 laps in there and said we felt like we had a little miss or something. But maybe it'll all work out. I hope we can. The Miller Genuine Draft car, Pontiac's really running great today, and the pit crew's doing an excellent job. Kyle's doing a heck of a job in that Pontiac, and we just like to, you know, get ready here. We need to win another race this year, and hopefully now we got to put it off to, I guess, to Phoenix.
Okay, you remember the movie car Christine? Maybe it'll heal itself.
Rusty Wallace almost got some healing laying of hands on from Jeff Bodine right there.
I tell you what he almost got was outside wall there. That's what you seen him trying to stay off of. He'd been happy to get a piece of that 15 right about then.
Yeah, he's definitely got a motor problem. Watch how much they drive by him down the straightaway. He's losing the cylinder in the car and he's not running up the bar.
Harry Gant goes past Rusty. He will drop to 10th place.
Yeah, Gant just went a lap down just prior to that, so Kyle's picking them off. There's a good pack of cars right here.
Jimmy Hensey right in the midst of it. Kyle Petty coming up now on Bill Elliott to put Elliott one down. Here's your Napa field scanning update, because there are no unimportant parts. Napa. Kyle Petty underneath the point standing leader. Elliott, trying to keep from being lapped, ran up on and into the back of Derek Cope a moment ago. Cope up in the high lane, and Elliott fighting hard to stay on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's got to run just as hard now if it were the last lap. Elliott, he's got to try to stay in this lead lap. But Kyle's going to be a tough guy to hold off.
I don't think that's going to happen, Neil. Watch this car the way it's sticking in the corner. When he picks the throttle up, even though he's on the bottom side, he gains there, where everybody else kind of breaks even and looks like the outside lane will pull right back by. They can't do it for Kyle.
12th place, we're going to have a look at Alan Kulwicki and Terry Labonte. Wally Dallenbach just ahead of them.
We heard Paul Andrews say the 7 car of Alan Kulwicki wasn't handling just like they wanted to. They were trying to work on it all day, and they've had the ability in the past to get that car better and better. Usually runs better at the other races.
Something's happened to Kyle.
Kyle's dropped back off of Bill Elliott now. He had just barely cleared Elliott, but now Bill Elliott's driven on past Kyle Petty once again. What did not seem to be traffic.
It was open track. I don't know what happened. Kyle looked like 3/4 way down the back straightaway. He just drove by him like something happened to Kyle's car.
There's Gant way up high, Bodine down low, trying to gain advantage.
They're telling us he got real loose getting down in the corner. Bill, like I said, Bill's got to run like it's the last lap. Kyle's had the luxury all day long of running his pace. Maybe Bill picked the pace up. He's making Kyle work the car a little harder than he wants to.
And he's making Kyle run the bottom of the racetrack, where Bill can kind of drive around up there in the Gant groove.
I can tell right now he's just a bit loose coming off the corner. And you get a car on the outside that's moving out like it'll take the air off the spoiler.
Yeah, if you look behind him, that's a bunch of hungry sharks behind him. They see just a little bit of fade on Kyle Petty, and these guys that just got a lap down, they said, we got to get by him right now. So they're making a jump on Kyle trying to get their lap back. We can see Kyle working the steering wheel. He's having a little bit more problem than he has earlier.
Caution free thus far through 187 laps. The least we've ever had here at the Rock in this race. 4 caution flags in 1966. In 1974, the spring race, a 450 miler, due to the 10% reduction on the energy shortage, only had 2 caution flags.
Mike, you know, one thing you got to think about, Kyle was concerned at the top of this race. He knew he would be good when this race started, and he thought he would be good all day long, but he's got to have it in the back of his mind how good he was at Charlotte. It faded at the end. He was good here for the first of the year, and then he faded. He said he was concerned about having the car on him all day long, and that's what they worked on, try to get it where to stay there.
Kyle has a 14-second lead on Mark Martin. There's the tail of the caution tape so far.
I can't help but think Elliott just really picked the pace up, because look here, here's Elliott, there's Kyle. You don't even see, they're just now coming to the picture. Bill picked the pace up some and run a little bit faster, and they're getting away with those guys behind him now.
I think Bill's feeling like the Braves about with 1 out in the 11th inning last night.
Man,
I'll tell you one thing, that's impressive. He's able to keep Kyle back. That's about the only car I've seen pass him on actual green flag laps today.
Let's go back about 12 seconds from Kyle Petty. There's Mark Martin running in second place.
Boy, now you talk about a healthy sounding motor. That thing sounds like it's got 2 or 3 in there, don't it?
83 and 8400 RPM. He's still turning a lot of RPM.
There's a great article on Jack Roush in Car and Driver magazine a year or so ago, and they said Jack just likes to fire up the dyno and listen to one of those engines run.
Well, I hope he does, because he's got 25 dynos.
Yeah.
He better like listening to him.
You ought to see Bud Moore when he's dialing one in on the dyno. He gets that tongue in between his teeth. It looks like he's going to tear it off. Now, you talk about somebody that enjoys one screaming out.
Our TMN suspension cam getting work out, mounted just behind the right front wheel of Mark Martin's Ford.
Looking forward to front of the car.
I tell you, that spring comes very close to coil binding. If you notice right up in the very top right-hand corner of that spring, it's getting very close to bottoming out.
When you see the real erratic travel, that's when he dives off of the straightaway down into the corner. Hits the brake right here. Watch in the middle of the corner. Should make a lot of travel. When he starts off corners, there'll be a little bit of movement up down right there. There's a few bumps up off the corner. And then at the other end of the straightaway, when he dives in, it really compresses the spring. So
these guys don't mix. Look at the decals on the lower A-frame there. They don't miss a trick.
Kyle Petty with a lead over Mark Martin, Ernie Irvan, Ricky Rudd, and Jeff Bodine. On the lead lap, 7 cars back through Bill Elliott. .194 laps complete as we watch this battle for 5th. Brett Bodine and now Sterling Marlin. who was certainly not one of the front runners in the first 100 laps of this race, has come up to run in 6th position.
Matter of fact, we've very seldom even mentioned his name, but they've been working on the car as the day went along, and he's got the car better and better. Here's, you know, we saw the other guys go around Brett Bodine a while ago. Now the 22 car has ran him down.
We'll be back to the North Carolina Motor Speedway right after these messages.
Racing, I can't explain it. You're kind of in a limbo zone. Time's different, speed's different, everything works different. It sounds totally cosmic. It's out there somewhere. It's out there somewhere.
Kyle Petty and Mellow Yellow. There's nothing mellow about him.
A reminder from Walmart. No matter who you are, no matter what you drive, there's one sure way to get more out of it. Regular oil changes with quality Haviland motor oil. When you add Haviland, you add more life to your car. And with Walmart savings every day of the year, you're not only miles ahead, you're dollars ahead too. Saving money at Walmart. It's an idea that's really catching on. Walmart. Always the low price. Always.
Next Sunday, live on TNN Motorsports. This is it. TNN's last live Winston Cup race of the season, and the action's guaranteed to be as hot as the Arizona sun. Follow Richard Petty on his final ride on TNN and say farewell to the NASCAR King. It's a run under the desert sun when TNN Motorsports wraps up our Winston Cup season. Live from Phoenix by Royal 500 next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern on TNN Motorsports.
Richard Petty did not defend his 1964 NASCAR driving championship in NASCAR. Plymouth got out of the sport for a season, and he drove this Hemi-powered Plymouth Barracuda in match races, drag racing, in 1965.
Tell you what, Richard would probably love to have those two big carburetors sitting on the Hemi under the hood of that thing right now. There's Kyle Petty trying to lap those guys. He's been in a tremendous amount of traffic last few laps. Just a predicament he doesn't need to be in, but he's got to try to get around these guys.
He's just lapped Sterling Marlin, the 7th place car. Maxwell House Ford of Junior Johnson. Hut Strickland will drive that car next year. It'll carry number 27. New colors, new deal. McDonald's on the side. If the race ended right now, here's how the points would stack up. One change. Well, 3rd and 4th would flip-flop so at 5th and 6th. But the whole thing would tighten up. It would be only 118 points, 1st to 6th.
I tell you, Bill Elliott's been the most successful we've seen in being able to hold Kyle Petty off. I'm not saying you're going to outrun Kyle for the win, but he's certainly done the best job of staying in the lead lap with him.
Historically, the driver who leads the Winston Cup points right now goes on to win the championship. Only twice since 1975 has a driver been trailing with 3 races to go and come on to win the title. Dale Earnhardt did it in 1990, took the lead from Ricky Rudd in the final 3 races, and in 1979, Richard Petty beat Darrell Waltrip for the championship after being in 2nd place with 3 races to go. That's Ernie Irvan under Alan Kulwicki. They're separated by a lap. Irvan is now the 2nd place car. 13th position for Kulwicki right now.
You know, we start talking about this race being caution-free. I wonder why, because let me tell you, I walked through the garage this morning. Everybody I talked to said, hey, we're throwing a gear in this car. We're going to try to win today. When they say that, they mean they're putting a lower gear in and really going after the win. All that says is, boy, these guys have got these motors pretty well bulletproof. To be able to twist them out of the frame and abuse them, and we haven't even had an engine failure this early in the race. I don't want to cause any boy, look at Kyle right behind him. Boy, got him loose when he got up on the 12 car.
Never mind engine failure. You're about to have heart failure.
I guarantee you Jimmy Spencer got another hole on that steering wheel just then. He turned that baby sideways right in front of Kyle.
Spencer in the 12 car after a great top 5 finish at Charlotte, driving for Bobby Allison.
It looks like Jimmy Spencer and Bill Elliott are having a regular little war out there. That's about the 5th time he's tried to pass Jimmy, and Jimmy's giving him no quarters right at the moment.
Sterling Marlin right in there. Jeff Bodine.
The big thing is look how much ground Elliott lost to Kyle Petty. Was able to hold him off for 30 or 40 laps. That one little bit of traffic, and Kyle 15 car lengths ahead of him now.
Elliott's now got to battle Sterling Marlin for position and Jeff Bodine. And Harry Gant's right there, too.
There's the 25 car on the inside. Ken Schrader, he's having a problem. He never seen him running slow on the inside.
Schrader had been in the garage area. He's come back out. Johnny McFadden had also been in the garage, and so had Mike Potter in the 2 backup Jimmy Means cars. Means says he's building Fords for next year, and he brought 3 cars to this track, trying to get them all in the race, trying to pick up some money. Needs some money to finish those Fords off for next season.
I wish some big sponsor would help Jimmy. You know, he works his heart out, and every week he brings a nice race car to the racetrack. Those kind of guys, I'd like to see some company come in and work up and make a good team out of. Or anybody's ever earned it, he has.
Means the only full-time driver on this circuit that builds his own engines, as well as running his own race team. Brian Dorsey, hippie we call him, longtime crew chief for Jimmy Means. Bill Elliott, number 6 in this race, 1 lap down. Boy, did they come out of the box like a rocket at the start of this season.
Yeah, I think they just put fear in everybody's heart. Hey, Elliott's going to be unbeatable. They couldn't do anything wrong. They even said themselves they won races they didn't think they should have. It just fell in their lap. And that's the way racing goes. You lose it, you can't get it back.
For 13th place, Alan Kulwicki and Morgan Shepherd battle.
Tried that outside line and couldn't quite get the kind of run he needed on the outside of Quickie.
Place there. They move up on the Greg Sachs car. Brett Bodine has just fallen a lap to Kyle Petty. Bodine, the 5th place car.
Notice Bill Elliott got out of all that traffic, and he's catching back up with Kyle again. He don't like the idea of giving that lap up right now. You know, the points are very valuable, these people, and they don't want to be a lap down.
You know, he was able to hold him off earlier until he got in that traffic. He got trapped in a box, and Kyle got away. So Bill is reeling back in, so his car's pretty strong.
As you saw, it's been 11 years since anybody won this race, the fall race at Rockingham, from the pole.
Somebody better tell Kyle about that. I don't think he believes it.
Well, if Kyle leads the halfway lap and gets the $10,000 from Gillette, you could win that Chevy Lumina Z34 if you know the driver who won the halfway lap if you've entered this week's contest. To enter next week's contest in Phoenix, send your name and phone number to Gillette Box 2246 St. Petersburg 33731. You must be 18 or over to enter. Maybe your name we're calling out next week on the Plyroyal 500.
And Kyle wins 10,000. And then Kyle will get 10,000 for leading halfway.
Right.
That'll pay the days. Just one day, Dr. Billy's Felix today, man. Take care of him for one day at least.
This is pretty good medicine right here. Kyle Petty leading Ernie Irvin, Mark Martin, and Ricky Rudd. Only 4 cars on the lead lap right now, but it's far from over. Stay with us.
Next week on Miller & Company, meet the musical elite. Jerry Reed, Michelle Wright, Delbert McClinton, and Radney Foster. And Lynn Anderson tells us about an unusual weekend.
Miller & Company, weeknights at midnight, 11 Central on TNN.
And it's Special smiles are one of life's pure joys. Sometimes it's your smile. Sometimes it's the smile of others. That's what you get back when you contribute to the Virginia Special Olympics. We need your help for these heroes. Together we win. To contribute, call 800-932-GOLD. Virginia Special Olympics, celebrating 25 years of special smiles.
Indian River Sports Travel invites you to select your own seats at all Redskin games this season. We offer complete packages that include your ticket, transportation accommodation, meals, entertainment, and plenty of action-packed excitement. Complete NFL packages from around the league. Indian River Sports Travel can connect you with other major sporting events, including live NASCAR racing, NBA basketball, professional hockey, and more. See the difference. Call Indian River Sports Travel, 523-5551, your sports connection.
We're back to the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Alan Kulwicki and Davey Allison racing for 13th place. One lap down. All the point chasers except Kyle Petty and Mark Martin. Elliott, Allison, Gant, and Kulwicki are all one lap down right now.
I don't know where that note came from.
I don't either, but read it. I like it.
They pass us notes all day long to rely on. It says this is the dumbest, never been seen since Sitting Bull decided to give General Custer a visit. I don't know if that goes for racing, but right now there's been a slaughter out here.
Well, look at here. He's led 210 of 216 laps, Kyle Petty has.
I want to know where the note came from.
And he's not out of arrows yet.
Well, I don't know about General Custer, but I can tell you Davey Allison wants that spot because these points are very valuable to him this close to the end of the season.
And don't call in on that, folks. Nobody's doing the tomahawk chop up here. 6th place, Bill Elliott and Jeff Bodine battling at it.
Here they go side by side. You know, it's tough when you're sitting there racing your heart out against here's the 15-11 run hard as they can, and the 42 just driving off in a different league with them. But these guys have raced against each other off and on all day long.
I'm going to tell you, this is about the period of time that drivers look for somebody to race here because you're getting a little bit mentally tired, a little bit physically tired. You can get a good battle going like this. It kind of refreshes you and gets you ready for the rest of the race.
They battle side by side. While we were away, Dale Earnhardt made a pit stop, so he's got some fresh tires on. So he's back in 22nd place, 2 down.
Looked like Jeff got a little tired running side by side. He took a little more racetrack that corner than he'd been taking.
Now, Earnhardt came out of the pits in that number 3 car, well back of Kyle Petty, zipped straight on past him.
Yeah, but I tell you what, those tires, the new stuff seems to be good for about 10 or 15, maybe somewhere around 15 laps. And then we'll see if Kyle can reel him back in on those old tires. The good goes away in a hurry.
Certainly Kyle, along with Ernie Irvin and Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd, have been very good on worn tires. Once you get some laps on those tires after you change them. And that's been the key here. Long runs of green flag racing. And Kyle owns an 18-second lead. We have gone, dare I say it, almost to halfway without a caution flag.
There's Schrader. We saw him go in the garage. His car almost quit on the track. Evidently they corrected it because he came out. He's past Kyle now. I tell you what, you've got to be careful of. When you're leading a race like Kyle's doing here, and you have those cars come flying past you, you've almost got to make yourself be content to just let them go, because he doesn't need to try to run his car any harder. When you try to run too hard, he'll get his tires used up.
19th place battle right here. Dale Jarrett and Darrell Waltrip, 2 laps down, both of them. Not a great day. Last chance, by the way. We're about to tally the votes for your choice for who should be the Winston Cup champion. We'll announce that in a bit. Then we'll open up our 800 line for questions for the rest of today's telecast about the running of this race.
Here we see Mark Martin coming in behind these 2 guys. Mark's car's running exceptional today. He's got a good race car. He told us before the race started. Yeah. He's got as good a car as he's ever had here, and yet Kyle's just driving away from him. He's got a good car. He's just not up to the pace of Kyle today.
Did you notice the hood pins on the front of that car? It pushed the hood down to where they were flapping. Looked like a tinfoil on the front.
There's a look at that as we give you our 800 number. If you've got questions about today's race or the Winston Cup Point Championship as it comes to conclusion, call in. They'll fax them to us from our 800 number, and we'll get you some answers.
There he's getting down in the 3rd turn. See Walter right up in front of him here. They're both trying to run down low. Leads up a big wide sweep out on the front straightaway. Exceptionally wide straightaway. Easy entry in turn 1 down here. The car just sliding right down the line. But boy, I tell you, coming off this 2nd turn, this is where the wall jumps out in a hurry. Right here, you got to be careful.
You know, Neil, watching the 17 car come off the corner, you'd say there's no way he's a lap down already. He looks like he's running as well as Martin, but he's not. I mean, he's off just a little bit, maybe a tenth, but pretty soon you can go a lap down.
He's about to pit, we're told.
He's 2 down right now, fixing to have to pit, so it's really going to cost him. You're getting a little bit of a view of what it's like also as the day goes on. We saw out of the front of Mark Martin's car, we're going up the back straightaway, but when you go down the front straightaway into turn 1, it's real lot of sun. We're going down the back now, no problem. going away from the sun. But watch as they go down in the corner. It really multiplies. There's Walter. See Walter pull the insides. Walter pulled in to go in. But as we come down the front straighter, watch this glare you get as you turn off in the corner. Start off down this corner. The sun hit right in that windshield. It's hard to see.
The Western Auto Chevrolet is on pit road. Glenn Jarrett is there.
Darrell Walker brings the Chevrolet into the pits for his routine pit stop. They are changing the right side tire. Pretty much routine right now, as you said earlier, Mike. He's been having kind of a struggling day. Been racing with my brother out there. Neither one of them setting the woods on fire. Coming around now on the left side tires. They have not yet made a chassis adjustment on the car. Kind of surprising the way that he's running, but they have not adjusted the car. Having away. Took him about 26 seconds. So just like he's doing on the racetrack, the pit stop wasn't all that great either, but yet not all that bad.
Kyle Petty still leading. I think Glenn hit on something on that pit stop. He said Walter did not make a chassis adjustment. He's as good as he can get. They just can't keep up to this car right here. Kyle is so good. Everybody, no reason everybody be making change. Only thing I see happening, Kyle's got, looks like one of his decals flying off the hood.
They're 7 miles an hour faster than the track record right now. Average speed 134. Kyle Petty going past the Harry Melling-owned car. Chad Little aboard.
He's either picked up a piece of paper or the decal coming up. Looks like a hot dog wrapper.
That's a hot dog wrapper, yep.
Something on the hood pin.
Yeah, that's one of Rockingham's favorite right there, the hot dog.
They won't stay there long. They'll a piece of paper and wear out in a hurry at the speed he's running.
Going past Mike Wallace, making his first Winston Cup start of the year.
How many crew members you're thinking say, hey, black flag that 42. He's got something on the hood.
Alan Kulwicki making his third pit stop of the day, and again right on schedule for Alan. Steve Evans.
Alan Kulwicki, as you say, back in the pits. Let's watch this car leave. Remember, probably low gear is shredded right out of the transmission, but that doesn't seem to have compounded any problems, as Buddy talked about. Apparently all those broken parts are happy roaring around in all that grease. There you can see he had to double clutch it to get it out of here. Even a little clutch dust out of the bell housing. That's hard on parts.
Sterling Marlin also made a pit stop. Ricky Rudd is in and getting 4 tires. Gary DeHart, the Tide crew, and the Bodine brothers probably spent more time together today than they have in the last several years.
Looks like Brett might be tired of riding behind him. He looks like he's going to make a serious move on him this time.
There goes Jeff right on under him going in the corner. I tell you what, Steve made the call a while ago. He had to double clutch it out of there. He doesn't have first gear. And I tell you what, that little clutch in there is not really made to do that. He's going to be careful. He'll lose it coming out of the pits.
5th and 6th place. 2 of the 3 racing brothers from Chemung, New York. Todd Bodine still battling Bobby Labonte and Joe Nemechek for that Busch Grand National Championship. You'll see the finale of that one from Hickory, North Carolina here on TNN in 2 weeks. Davey Allison battling with Rick Maz. That's 11th place at stake.
Look how still Davey's hands are, even in the corner there. His car seems to be working well. He's just not getting around the racetrack as fast as some of the other cars.
You see how much Davey moved over right there? They gave him a call and said Schrader's been in the garage. He's worked on his car. He's got low pressure tires. He came out and Davey pulled over and let him go on by. The thing to do, not racing. Schrader's a lot of laps down. Davey get that. The car looks like it's doing good. It's just, you know, he doesn't seem to be off that much. He's just not running as good a laps.
I'm going to tell you, Davey, a lot of people say, you know, they don't seem the car's running that well this late in the season and all. I think the car's running well. I think Davey himself is not back to 100%. This man went through a very traumatic thing, and I think he's still working himself back to strength, too.
20 seconds from 1st to 2nd place here at the Rock. Kyle Petty leading Ernie Irvin now with Mark Martin in 3rd and the Bodine brothers 4th and 5th, a lap down.
Wendy's spicy chicken. Yeah, it's different, because Dave's different. He's a rebel. They zig, he zags.
Wendy's new spicy chicken filet sandwich is a whole breast that's specially seasoned with Dave's own blend of pepper and spices.
Dave, spicy? That's intriguing.
What can I say? When you're hot, you're hot.
Wendy's spicy chicken filet sandwich. It's caused quite a stir.
A man his age shouldn't be making spicy food. Amen.
once you've finished vacationing here. But one thing's for sure, North Carolina will never leave you.
The road is the ultimate test. It demands the will, the determination, the energy to go further. At Texaco, you'll find that energy in System 3 gasolines for improved performance in all octane grades. It's not just in our products. It's also in our services. Everywhere you go. At Texaco, we meet the challenge of the road and then go even further.
When 280 seemed out of reach, it's Joe Amato and Autolite who punch it. The wall goes to 290. Connie Coletta and Autolite smash it. 300, the barrier. Kenny Bernstein and Autolite shatter it. Autolite and the Record Breakers. Wow, I feel good. We feel pretty good about that.
TNN Motorsports exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 500 is brought to you by Autolite Spark Plugs. Guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go. They've packed them into the Sandhills of North Carolina to see the final ride of Richard Petty in his home state and to see 6 drivers tussle for the Winston Cup championship. I'm Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet and Buddy Baker. Steve Evans and Glenn Jarrett are on pit road, and we've been watching this man set a torrid record pace thus far. We've been caution-free.
Boy, it sure looks slow coming up that part of the racetrack right there. He's running so good on the bottom of the racetrack, it looks like he's sitting still. While this was going on, while we went to commercial, we had about 4 of the leaders pit and put on tires for the top cars. The leader, you're looking at him all day long.
5th place car just coming to pit lane. That's Harry Gant. Terry Labonte just made a stop.
We had Davey Allison come in, Mark Martin while we were away.
And here, trying to fight their way back up after pit stops, are Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin for 10th place.
Boy, oh boy, I mean, Mark just blew right on by Ricky like he was tied.
With all this going on, we're down to 2 cars in the lead lap. It's the 42 car in the 4. We're trying to make it sound interesting, buddy.
Lead lap.
Oh boy. Let's go to voter control. And the results of our mock election, you picked Davey Allison as the man who should be a Winston Cup champion. Everybody got at least 10% of the votes among 6 candidates. Nobody a clear majority there. We'll do this again next week at Phoenix, and the reason we're doing this is to remind you to vote and exercise one of your most precious rights as an American, to cast a ballot. Do that Tuesday, November 3rd. Thanks to all of you who voted in, and our 800 line is now open for your questions about this race. We'll try to get them answered for you as our coverage continues for the AC Delco 500. You're in with Davey Allison.
Davey just came out of the pits after getting 4 tires. This car should be really good right now. He's on 4 fresh tires. That's been a big edge for everyone all day long.
You know, Felix Sabates is always putting up boats and stuff and things for his drivers. Crew Chief Robin Pemberton will get a 1992 high buck sports car if this man, Kyle Petty, can win 2 of the last 3 races or finish 2nd in the points.
Well, I bet you Robin gets in some service right here. He's got a lot riding on him. Last time we saw him, there were 4 tires on this car in 18 seconds.
Steve Evans.
All right, the leader is coming in, and I guarantee in the hospital, Felix Sabates is watching the second hand on that gold Rolex Presidential with the diamond bezel to see if they can match that earlier stop. A 4-tire change in 18 seconds. This one looks just about as good. 2nd place is pitting as well. 2nd place also in Ernie Irvin. This is not as quick a stop. A good one, but not the best of the day. Mike?
And they had trouble with the jack screw on Ernie Irvin's car. They were cranking on it and had to get 2 hands up and over there.
You know, that's a devastating thing because he come right in with Kyle. He's right up there racing for the win.
Glenn Jarrett?
Ernie has left the pits now. Was 4-tire change, and the problem they had was the ratchet just slipped out of the jack screw. It didn't cost him any extra time because he still got finished making that chassis adjustment long before the car was down the way with the 4 tires on it. Pretty routine stop other than that chassis adjustment. Looks like the car might be a little bit loose.
So Bill Elliott also makes a stop. He had risen to third place, and again, for the second time, Kyle Petty has made a pit stop without surrendering the lead. I can hear the keys to that 930 Porsche jingling in Robin's pocket right about now.
One of the keys to this was he didn't surrender the lead, but he let 5 cars get back in the lead lap with him. Now we've got 5 cars in the lead lap where we were down to 3 just a minute ago. So that stop evidently was a little bit slower. Those guys got back around. Probably a case of him stretching those used tires a long way, and he lost some track position to it.
5th place, Sterling Marlin in danger of going a lap down, and Ernie Irvan and Ricky Rudd racing for position as they go past Chad Little. That's 3rd place right there. Those 2 cars have raced each other all day long, much like the Bodine brothers have run each other all afternoon.
We were just talking about the 22 car by track positioning got back in the lead lap. Kyle's out on these new tires. That's 5th place right there, 5th and 6th.
And Brett Bodine trying to get back on the lead lap.
You know what really did surprise me is I didn't realize the 4 car was that close to Kyle. When they stopped right together. Kyle had a super stop again, and Ernie stayed in the pits quite a while.
Jimmy Hensley and Kenny Schrader making pit stops under green.
And we're back to 4 cars in the lead lap when he put Sterling back on.
Our aerial views of the North Carolina Motor Speedway today, presented by Plastic Coat Spray Paint, the winning finish of NASCAR. As you watch them circulate the rock, that's the back straightaway on the right side of your screen, and the front stretch with its dog leg, or double dog leg like Charlotte, on the left. And the man who has been knocking away pieces of the rock is Kyle Petty. He has led all but 7 laps today thus far. And right now he leads by 12.5 seconds. But that gap appears to be narrowing just a little bit. Mark Martin closing in. Ernie Irvan and Ricky Rudd 3rd and 4th. Sterling Marlin is 5th. Brett Bodine, his brother Jeff, Gant Earnhardt, and Elliott. We asked David Pearson if there was one race here at Rockingham with he and Richard Petty that stood out in his mind. Pearson's led more laps here than anybody else, including the King.
I always wanted to beat him worse than anybody else, I guess. And of course, we always were real good friends and still are. And I always like to beat him, and of course, he always liked to beat me. So it was a good thing. And like I said, we've run together for years and years. And I don't reckon we've ever had any harsh words against each other.
And they're off at Shoney's. It's steaks first for the rail, followed by seafood and home-style dinners. Down the back stretch, burgers and sandwiches are neck and neck. Here comes soup, salad, and fruit bar. And at the finish, it's dessert! They say you are what you eat. So would you rather be Shoney's all-you-care-to-eat soup, salad, and fruit bar, or a box of salad? I guess now it's tossed salad.
He's crazy about the rodeo. He says he's crazy about me. I don't know. Maybe he's just plain crazy.
Here's to rodeo cowboys, the women who love them, and cowboy cut jeans. Wrangler.
Someday, somebody might build a 6-passenger car that's a better value than Dodge Spirit. One that has an airbag, automatic transmission, and offers air conditioning, a 4-speaker stereo, and more at no extra charge. We're not saying it's impossible to build a car like Spirit that's priced as low, just that no one has managed to do it.
Now, get $750 cash back on Spirit.
We're just past halfway at the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Ernie Irvan has taken 2nd place. There's Mark Martin, top of the screen. You see the advantage Irvin has made up in just 3 commercials. And now Terry Labonte in 94. He and Rusty Wallace were battling for position. Rusty way up high and may have dropped a cylinder or lost some compression. That was for 11th place. Labonte has taken the spot.
You know, Mike, we're trying everything we can. Everybody's talking about they need a caution. Usually when we go to a commercial, they'll have a caution. We tried 3 times and we're still green. It's just not working today.
Here's a big surprise, Neil. Kyle Petty has won the Gillette Halfway Challenge. He's led all but 7 laps today, including the right one that gains him $10,000 from Gillette. So stay by your phone. Hope it's next to the television. If you've entered today's Gillette Halfway Challenge and they make the call, you can identify Kyle Petty as the leading driver at Halfway. The keys will be jingling in your pocket.
I want to say one thing, John Mullins and our producer. I want you to watch Kyle Petty. When you're down here at the Buck Baker Driving School, I want you to run just like this guy's doing. And we're going to have John Force and Mike Joy down here at the same time, so we're looking forward to that little deal.
I'm not anxious to have Force go blasting by me on the straightaway, but Mike can deal with him in the corners. Katie Haas wants to come down and do the school, too. We'll,
tell her by all means, please do.
Okay. Harry Gant and Bill Elliott right now are racing back for 8th place after that round of pit stops. If the race ended right now, Mark Martin would climb to 2nd in the points. Kyle Petty would move from 6th to 5th. At halfway, have a look at the race summary. Kyle Petty had led all but now, we believe, 6 laps and has lapped all but the next 3 cars. The only lead changes occurred when Kyle made his first pit stop of the day. Cars out of the race. The 2 backup Jimmy Beans cars. And Dave Marcus out of the race. Rear end trouble. Kenny Schrader spent a lot of time in the garage, but he's come back out to pile up some points. We've been caution free. And for those, the folks that tell you that people only want to watch Winston Cup racing because of the crashes, the last crash in a Winston Cup race was way back at Martinsville.
Yeah, but they made up for a whole year's worth in that one race.
Caution free at North Wilkesboro, and the most serious caution at Charlotte was Wally Dollenbach's harmless 1-car spin. So, wreck-free racing.
You look at
we like it.
Bill Elliott and Harry Gant, they have raced side by side for the last 40 laps. That's unbelievable. I think what they're doing now is just trying to do something a little exciting instead of just ride around.
Davey Allison gets lapped for the 2nd time today. Tough day for the point standing runner-up. You heard him say at Charlotte they missed, well, they didn't miss the setup. They had the setup right, but a spring was not properly located, and he was many laps down before they located the problem and corrected it. Had a tough finish there. And right now, Davey, 2 laps down, is in 15th position. Ted Musgrave makes a pit stop under green.
Notice that windshield's getting a little nasty, too. I imagine the whole thing, him not being 100% physical ready for this race, and that windshield getting dirty and everything. It's a long race for him, don't you think, Neil?
Yeah, he's running hard. Well, I tell you, this thing of Kyle's, every time we look up, he's passing good race cars. He's back there behind Kyle's. He's just, man, he's saying, if I could just run like that today, the points I could be coming my way. Kyle has really got it going in his direction right now.
You saw that out the windshield shot Buddy was talking about, where the windshield gets a little greasy. You walk right down the pits, that's strong stuff. The ammonia they use to clean those windshields on the pit stop. You see some of they're not bugs, it's rubber and other things on the windshield. One of our phone-in questions comes from Clay Bennett up in Montana. How we keep the lenses of those roof cams clean. It's kind of neat. I wish you had one on the windshield, but you have tear-offs on your helmet. We've got an electric tear-off that just kind of slides past that lens and manages to keep it clean. We change that about once every 5 or 6 seconds while that camera's on the air. It's kind of neat. Davey could use one on the windshield of that car.
Well, I tell you, I've ran races at this place in the afternoon when that sun gets in down in turn 1 where you couldn't even see. You have to call the spotter. Boy, look how the wall jumped that job too right there coming off 2nd turn. But getting back to that sun, I've had it where I had the spotter tell me, is there anybody? I say, if somebody's in front of me, let me know. You can't even see the cars. You actually drive down to the lines. You come down this front straightaway like this. You'll follow that line area. You'll dive to the apron and just aim the car down at this line right there because you can't see what's up above it.
There's the glare you can see on that lens. Not the best pair of sunglasses or goggles would take care of all that glare.
No, but you make sure you do wear dark glasses there at Rockingham. Anything to cut off some of the glare.
There's your top 10. We'll be right back.
Filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
$1988.
We will be able to produce 30 million jobs in the next 8 years.
Under George Bush, more private sector jobs have been lost than have been created.
And I am an environmentalist.
The Sierra Club says Bush allowed his administration to, quote, gut clean air rules.
I want to be the education president.
George Bush tried to cut college aid for families making over $20,000 a year.
I want a kinder and gentler.
We can't afford 4 more years.
Life's an adventure. The Discovery Channel. It's your world.
When Darrell Waltrip needs a part, he needs the right part, and he needs it fast.
And when you need parts, see the parts team at Western Auto. We've got top name brands and thousands of parts in stock. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
And we've got the right price, backed by our low price guarantee, right?
Right, DW. And while you're at Western Auto, pick up Valvoline motor oil at a low Western Auto price. People who know, use Valvoline.
Western Auto, the official auto parts and service store of NASCAR. Right, guys?
Right, DW.
Richard Petty's only superspeedway win of 1968 was in this race. He outran David Pearson and Leroy Yarborough to win $17,000 that day in a Petty blue car. Now his car is Petty blue and STP red. Interesting part of that story is Richard left $50,000 on the table when he first negotiated his STP sponsorship. You'll hear about that and much more next Saturday when TNN presents Richard Petty, the final ride, a 1-hour special. Next Sunday, Sunday, November 1st, immediately before our flag-to-flag coverage of the Pyroil 500. Richard will tell that story and many more about his 35-year stock car racing career. Join us then. Brett Bodine now has Bill Elliott to contend with. They are running 5th and 6th unofficially. And Elliott, we're told, along with Ernie Irvin, are lapping this track faster than Kyle Petty right now.
The key in a situation like this is Bill has got to get right on by the 26 car. There he goes. He's running lap speeds quicker than the leader. Ernie Irvin went from like 12 seconds down to just 9 seconds behind now. He's reeling him in also. Both of these cars, 11 and the 4, are quicker than the leader right now.
Petty is the leader. Irvin is second. Mark Martin is third. Ricky Rudd is fourth. And Brett Bodine, that 26 car, battles Bill Elliott for 5th.
What might be happening right now is I think Kyle may be just riding around trying to get an advantage on the tire wear a little bit and stretching out where he might make an advantage out of the thing instead of a disadvantage by running too hard right now when they don't count.
Boy, I'll tell you, look at Ernie's car. You know, Gant's been a good car all day. Boy, Ernie drove right under him and checking on out, so they're sure cranking out some good lap times right now.
It was mentioned on yesterday's telecast that Ernie Irvin and Jeff Gordon would be teammates next year. We have a 800 question on that. They will be in a general sense in that they'll both be in Chevrolets, which is a first for Jeff Gordon, but Gordon will drive for Rick Hendrick and Irvin for Morgan McClure. They won't really be termites? Teammates. Jeez. I got problems with my lip, too. They unveiled Gordon's car here today, and it has almost every day glow color in the book on it. DuPont Finishes will sponsor Jeff Gordon, and their car number will be 24 on the Winston Cup Series next year.
They got on pit road, they've got the 50 of Jeff Bodine, excuse me, he's on pit road, and they've got the hood up. The thing's running hot. They're pumping water out of it.
It's a tough break for Jeff Bodine, who would run in 7th place before that pit stop. interval, first to second. There's Kyle Petty coming up on Alan Kulwicki and Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace had a great run at Martinsville a week ago in the Busch Grand National race here on TNN. Glenn?
I'm standing with Tony Glover, the crew chief for Ernie Irvin. Tony, you made an adjustment last time. You seem to be gaining a little bit now. Did it help the car?
Well, I don't know. I'm really not sure if it helped it or hurt it. But, you know, right now everything's going pretty good. We still got 2 or 3 more adjustments we're going to make, and hopefully we'll come out here with a good run.
Well, guys, right now it's just basically a wait-and-see attitude. At least nothing but green flag stops. They don't have a lot of opportunity to adjust the cars. Every 100 miles or so, they just take stock, see what they've done.
Jeff Bodine's car has gone behind the wall, overheating. Kyle Petty's lead has now shrunk to 8.7 seconds over Ernie Irvin. Part of that may be due to Kyle trying to lap past Alan Kulwicki. Kulwicki's running a pretty good clip here, and it's not going to be easy for Kyle to fight his way past.
Yeah, Kulwicki's 1 lap down, on the verge of going 2 down. There Kyle takes a look to the inside. Kulwicki's got him battling because he's just 1 lap right now. There's a possibility of getting that back later.
Here's your Napa Field standing update, brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
Looks like there's a real good opportunity going 2 down, though.
That's what Kyle said. No unimportant parts here.
They got together a little bit, getting in the corner. There's a lot of traffic. I tell you what, the 7-car Kulwicki sees this traffic on the inside. He said, if I can just stay beside him, maybe I can pin him down and hold him that lap back. When he pins him down, we're talking about sheet metal pinning down here.
They are both running for the Winston Cup. Kulwicki 3rd in the points, Petty 6th. Both with a good shot. Just can't get to that lap car, Jimmy Horton.
Yeah, he said, look, let me get there quick and hold him back.
Did it.
I mean, it just sees the next rung on the ladder. You got to reach out and grab it. And he was able to use that car to put Kyle directly behind him.
Ernie Irvin now just 7.9 seconds back. Scott Beam from North Dakota called in and asked, why doesn't Richard Petty wear gloves? Great article on fire protection in Stock Car Racing Magazine this past month. I think it's a lot like the hockey players in the 60s. Bobby Hall, Stan Mikita, those fellas did not wear helmets. But the younger hockey players coming up in junior league started wearing them, wore them for their whole career, and now everybody in the NHL wears a helmet. I think you're going to see the same thing with gloves and this added fire protection. The younger drivers have them and always will.
If you notice, he's one of the few men that still wraps his steering wheel with black tape and rubber. Most of them have a very adhesive type steering wheel that they use. He used the old-timey wrapping on the steering wheel, and that's why you don't need gloves.
We'll mention that the NASCAR does not require gloves. They leave individual safety protection for the most part up to all the individual racers to make that decision. But you go around the short tracks where the drivers are up and coming, they're wearing Nomex socks, they're wearing the gloves, they're wearing the skirt around the helmet, 2- and 3-layer fire suits.
My contention, a lot of these older drivers would say, I can't feel the car with gloves on. The only thing I can say about that, when you burn your hands off, you don't feel anything. I'd like to see all the drivers go to that protective equipment, because I'm telling you, one of these fires is tough in one of these race cars.
Well, I wonder if Donald Mosley will be wearing gloves down in Rocky Face, Georgia. He drives his new Chevy Lumina Z34 around town. The 51-year-old service station attendant won the Gillette Halfway Challenge. Our congratulations. Mail in your postcard with your name and phone number if you're 18 or over to Gillette for next week's Halfway Challenge from the Pyro 500 at Phoenix, and we could be calling out your name.
I bet you it won't do good to go to the station this afternoon. He'd probably close the rest of the day.
I guess so. Kyle Petty now leads Ernie Irvin by just 6.7 seconds. There's your top 5, top 10.
She's a national treasure. Join host Barbara Mandrell in an all-star lineup for Hats Off to Minnie, America Honors Minnie Pearl. Monday night at 8 Eastern on TNN.
And it's been
Special smiles are one of life's pure joys. Sometimes it's your smile. Sometimes it's the smile of others. That's what you get back when you contribute to the Virginia Special Olympics. We need your help for these heroes. Together we win. To contribute, call 800-932-GOLD. Virginia Special Olympics, celebrating 25 years of special smiles.
Indian River Sports Travel invites you to select your own seats at all Redskin games this season. We offer complete packages that include your ticket, transportation accommodation, meals, entertainment, and plenty of action-packed excitement. Complete NFL packages from around the league. Indian River Sports Travel can connect you with other major sporting events, including live NASCAR racing, NBA basketball, professional hockey, and more. See the difference. Call Indian River Sports Travel, 523-5551, your sports connection.
We're back at Rockingham with 293 of 492 laps completed. 200 to go here at the Rock. Kyle Petty holding fourth from the lead. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Travis Carter just showed Jeff Bodine a piece from the car. Early exit. What was it, Jeff?
How you doing, Glenn? I'm tired. It was rough out there, I'll tell you. Something broke in the engine. We're not sure yet. Just started missing a little bit. And, you know, right after that last pit stop, we finally got the car running pretty good, handling good. And we might have found the right setup. We'll never know because right after that pit stop, it started missing. Fell back, thought we might be able to keep going, but it finally got bad enough we couldn't keep going.
Well, I really hate to see you have the problem, but I'm glad to have somebody to talk to. Kyle's making a laugher out of this thing.
Reminds me of North Wilkesboro when I did it. Now he's running great out there. You know, no cautions. You'll believe it. As bad, as slippery as this track is, no cautions. Everyone's doing a great job out there.
Do you think anybody's got anything at all for Kyle?
Are you kidding me? He's gone. Hi, everybody back home. We love you here. Short day. Boy, we're going to have to watch the rest of this mess. It's going to be boring.
Probably wish
Gee, thanks. Thanks, Jeff. Glenn, thank him for us.
Yeah.
As everybody runs to the refrigerator, don't touch that dial, folks, regardless of what he says. Oh, boy. At 11th place. I don't think Alan Kowicki's bored today. He's had a busy day. He and Morgan Shepherd continue to go at it in 11th place. If the race ended right now, 80 points would separate Elliott and Davey Allison. Kyle Petty would move up one spot in the point standings. Otherwise, same thing.
Let me tell you, the complexion of races can change in a hurry. And while this is going on, these stopwatches are saying 12 seconds, 9 seconds, 7 seconds. We're down now to around 6 or 7 seconds. They've cut that lead half in two on Kyle. I'll be the first one to tell you, maybe Kyle's backed the pace down, but the 4 car and the 11 car Bill Elliott are running some good laps right now.
Darrell Waltrip back in the pits. Again, these are routine stops under green. We are caution-free as Alan Kowicki comes to pit road. Kyle Petty leading by 7 seconds.
You know what? These pit crews are going to be worn out before the day's over. They usually get to rest a little bit. These guys have been working all day. Green stops, running that right, left. There's Walter going out there. You see Kowicki still making chassis adjustments. They cranked in that right rear of that car. They're continuously working on the chassis, trying to get it better. But what is better? How much is it going to take to run that other guy down?
Well, Neil, you know, we talked about this yesterday in the race. That's one thing you have to do here. You have to chase that car all day, trying to get it right for the last 100 miles of this race.
Kyle Petty's had it right for the last 250 miles. Just about as right as can be. If he wins this, it'll be the 3rd time that he's won that skins game kind of bonus. This big golf capital here in Pinehurst, Southern Pines area. That bonus just adds $7,600 each race until somebody hits it. Right now it's at $98,800. And that's not what he gets for winning. That's just a bonus.
Isn't that amazing? I've run for a full season before and not win $98,000.
Yeah, don't remind me. I've done the same thing, buddy. This looks like a replay. Looks like we just go back every now and then and show you the same shot over and over. Kyle just runs around this thing like he's on a string. And the rest of the team, you walk through the garage, and every time they raise the hood on this 42 car, 5 people has got their head looking around. These guys are good enough they can look at a spring and say what size it is.
Yeah.
And they're trying to say, well, boy, his springs look like mine. The shocks are the same thing I got. But why does he beat us so bad here? Nobody has the answer.
Ernie Irvin hasn't beat him yet, but he has been closing. He's knocked that gap down to about 6.5 seconds, and then it started to stretch out again just a little bit, up to about 7.2. I mentioned earlier about Junior Johnson's. Junior won't call it a second team, his other team, other than Bill Elliott. But Strickland will drive, and the number won't be 22. Kathy from Pennsylvania called in, asked why Junior would give up the number. It's because Maxwell House wants to stay in the sport. They've developed an identity with that number. So Hut Strickland will run 27. The number Junior won some races with when he drives for McDonald's next year. Ernie Irvan, second place, and closing. Mark Martin in third place right now. He's run most of this race in the runner-up spot. So it's Pontiac, Chevrolet, Ford, then Ricky Rudd Chevy, and Bill Elliott's Ford.
You see how dark that was in the corner there. You get your eyes adjusted going down the straightaway to all that light and then dive into that dark part of that racetrack. I tell you, that gives you a lot of problems with your vision right in that area.
Well, I tell you, the problem with the vision of this is trying to see where that little black bar went. When you look at, you know, if you can look out this windshield like this and just see where the guy's at, you got a little hope for it. Don't worry about it. I'm wondering if there's any brakes left. We watched so many sparks fly off that thing today. He's working it hard.
Dale Earnhardt makes a pit stop. Earnhardt in 10th place. It's 10.5 seconds from second to third place, back to Mark Martin. Now we're looking at fourth place, Ricky Rudd. So it's 7 seconds from first to second, from Kyle Petty to Ernie Irvan. 12 seconds more back to Mark Martin. And then from Mark Martin back to Ricky Rudd, the fourth place car, still running on the lead lap, is another 8 seconds.
You know, at one time we were down to 2 cars in the lead lap. So these guys have helped themselves a little bit. They're able to stay in that lead lap and lose.
Well, I was adding up all those seconds, and it almost gets to 1 lap. Here's Kyle right in the picture on fourth place, Ricky Rudd.
Yep, he's fixing flirting with going back a lap down again.
You talk about a frustrating thing. There's Ricky and his spotters saying, okay, he's 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, and then you say, look, I can see him in the mirror. Let's don't talk about this anymore.
Bill Elliott, the point leader, is the 5th place car. Third among the 6 drivers contesting the Cup.
There's Ernie Irvan working a lot of traffic right there. He just went around Davey Allison coming up on Bill Elliott. There's Davey's view of the 4 car of Ernie Irvan going down in the corner. Ernie's in 2nd place. There he's getting up on the 68 car. Bobby Hamilton. Next one in the line is that thing of Elliott's. Elliott's been running good, but Irvan's fixing to go around and put him a lap down on his car.
Notice there's a lot of difference in the way they go through the corner. Ernie's way down on the bottom part of the racetrack, and Bill's going way up in the middle part of the corner in first and second corner. So I think that the 4 cars handling a lot better.
Let's go to Steve Evans.
Well, I hope Robin Pemberton can hear me, but I know Kyle was held up by Kowicki for a bit. Is he really on the gas? Is it 10 tenths? Are you saving it a bit?
We're doing. He's running pretty hard right now. We're not perfect. Ernie's got a real good car. Depending on the traffic, Ernie can get us a little bit, and then we might get away. He's down to about a 9 or 8 second lead on Ernie Irvan.
All right, thanks. This is one of those dreams you don't want to wake up from, you know, guys.
That's true. Don't sound the alarm. 310 laps out of 492. Coming up about 2/3 distance in this race. Kyle Petty coming up to lap the 4th place car.
Oh, watch it. Here's Ricky Rudd. He's turning down pit road while this is going on. The 25 car of Schrader went in the pits in the garage area again. Here comes the 5 down pit road.
Now, he stayed out on the racetrack as long as possible, hoping to catch a caution. But when he saw Kyle coming right up and around, he knew he was going to get lapped anyway. No point in staying out there if he's running that much slower than the leader. He's got to come in.
That's usually what the pits will tell you. Stay out until you get lapped. When you get lapped, come in. Boy, it's routine. But the routine is you're getting beat. There's nothing you can do about it. They're coming in. They put 4 tires on. They go out and run 70 or 80 laps. Come in, put 4 tires on. You don't see a lot of adjustments. They're doing as good as they can go.
Ricky Rudd out in 20.5 seconds. Kyle Petty, or rather Davey Allison, coming to pit road as that happens.
While we look at the 42 car go around, I noticed Greg Sachs has pulled off. It looks like he's had a problem with the Kellogg's car. He's going around the bottom of the racetrack very slow.
Cornflakes aren't crispy anymore.
You got it.
Tough day.
Davey Allison just grinding out a tough day of it today. Certainly not like they wanted to go, but you just got to keep digging. I guarantee he's going as hard as he can possibly go. 9th place right now. There he's waving. Must be coming in the pit. See him signaling to the guys behind him. real critical right here. When you enter the pits, you're in the racing groove. He's sitting in the high-speed groove of the track. He's letting the guy behind him know, hey, I'm turning off pit road. Keep getting rammed in the rear.
Waves Alan Kulwicki past. Terry Labonte also on pit road. Glenn Jarrett is in Allison's pit.
And Davey Allison brings the Texaco Haviland Ford Thunderbird in for another 4-tire change in gasoline. He waves off something to drink, so he must be feeling pretty calm and cool out there. Still no signs of a chassis adjustment on this car. Evidently, most of the guys have decided that they're going to make an adjustment. They're just going to have to do it with stagger because they're showing the best they got anyway. Remember early on, before the race started, Davey told us they had adjusted on the car all week and really hadn't gotten it the way he wanted. He's down and away in 21 seconds. That's an awfully good stop.
That's a good stop. And we noticed the guy with a brush right on the front of the car. He's not cleaning paper and stuff off there. That's rubber. That's because big chunks of rubber. We was talking about them burning tires. These tires start with about 6/30 seconds of rubber, and they go down to the cord almost, and that rubber ends up in the grill of these other race cars. It's just like chewing gum piled up in it.
Kyle Petty owns a 6.5-second lead, Neil. Stephen from Mississippi asked when the last time was a driver finished on a lead lap by himself. Last year at Dover, Harry Gant won, and Jeff Bodine was a lap back in second place. You know, it's 72 degrees here at Rockingham today, but it isn't always this warm. We asked Richard Petty about a very memorable race at Rockingham, and we're surprised with this response.
And it was so cold you couldn't believe how cold it was. In fact, we had a radiator to bust on us. I wound up third in the race, must have made 5 or 6 pit stops. We'd come into the pit, and they'd put water in it, and it'd freeze by the time it hit the ground. And then when I left, they'd get something and get the ice up so to clean it up so that the next time I come in, I could stop. And now that's cold. And we was out there racing with it, and people sitting in the grandstand watching.
In my career, I've had a lot of good things happen to me. Of course, there were a few headaches, but that's when I'd reach for a Goody's headache powder, and I'm not alone. In a recent survey, doctors preferred the Goody's Formula 2 by more than 3 to 1 over BC's. And only Goody's beats a headache the way I prefer, in record-breaking time.
All right. Makes you feel so good again.
Over the years, I've made a lot of trips back and forth to Vegas.
So how's it going this trip, George?
The odometer was broken for over 50,000 miles, so I say we've got 300,000 miles on this car.
Hi, George.
I've had a longer relationship with this car than I've had with any woman.
Hi, George. How are you?
This beauty's a living example of what can be done with proper maintenance and AC Delco.
Hi, George.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
The road is the ultimate test. It demands the will, the determination, the energy to go further. At Texaco, you'll find that energy in System 3 gasolines for improved performance in all octane grades. It's not just in our products. It's also in our services. Everywhere you go. At Texaco, we meet the challenge of the road and then go even further.
Hey, Chris, toss me mellow yellow.
Oh, great.
You're kidding.
Hey, don't worry about it, guys. I'll go back.
Yeah, we'll see you sometime next week.
That's 60 miles back.
When you've got a real thirst, nothing can keep you from the ice-cold citrus taste of Mellow Yellow. No mountains high enough, no ditch deep enough, no road rough enough. Mellow Yellow. There's nothing mellow about it.
Hey, Kyle, how'd you get back so fast?
Me and the Hummer took a little shortcut.
Exclusive coverage of the AC Delco 500 on the Nashville Network is brought to you by Mellow Yellow and Kyle Petty. There's nothing mellow about him. The running order a little jumbled up from pit stops. The first 3 cars are on the lead lap. Those next 2 are 1 lap down. From 6th through 10th, all these next cars are 2 laps down. Most of them have made that second pit stop, and here's Mark Martin coming to pit road. 3rd place car. Glenn Jarrett's there.
And Mark Martin is in. They've got the right side's change. They're now jacking the car up to the left side. Again, no chassis adjustments. Just putting left side tires on the car. They've been pretty well pleased with the car and the way this car has been running. Boy, that's a great stop. I got it at 18 and a half seconds. That should gain some time on the racetrack. They can't make it up on the racetrack. If they can make it up in the pits, that makes Mark tough that much easier.
Thanks, Glenn. Yesterday, Unocal Rockingham 76 pit crew race was held. Kenny Schrader's crew took home the top honors and the money for that one. Rusty Wallace's crew just had a stop at 18.4 seconds. That's the quickest one we've seen today, I believe.
Well, here are new tires on. You talk about sticking that sidewall down and flaring over. He's got those new tires. It'll really run through the corner.
Mark Martin right behind Kyle Petty a lap down. Looks like Kyle may pit.
Either he's pitting or they call him. He said, Mark's on new tires. And he says, okay, let me get out of the way. See, Kyle yeah, he's turning it in. He's coming in from tires this time. But when his competition puts new tires, he just about got to it.
He needed to stop because Ernie Irvin is close to within 5 seconds of the leader. So Kyle has been drifting back a bit from the pace he set earlier. Steve Evans.
Robin Beverton and the crew waiting for Kyle Petty as the 42 car comes to a stop. Maybe one reason these crews have been so on their game today is they've been practicing for about 2 weeks for that Unocal competition Mike talked about yesterday. So far, we haven't seen a major blunder on any of the top dates. A perfect swing around at the jack. Let's go back to Mike Joy.
Kyle Petty's crew finishing up 18-8.
I think what Steve tried to hit the nail on the head was like these guys in the big crew race yesterday. There's Ernie Irvin in also. They've been practicing this for the contest for weeks, and boy, we're seeing some good stops all day long.
Gas and tires only, no change otherwise for the Kodak Chevrolet. Rick Mass goes by making his pit stop. A little bit of change. Tony Glover over there, or somebody over there with the jack and wrench. Well, 20.1 seconds. You know, 2 years ago, that would have been a top flight pit stop, 20 seconds. And now, it's kind of wasn't quite the best one. Glenn?
Well, a lot of high fives down here in Mark Martin's pits. That was a great pit stop, Steve.
Yeah, but it'd take about 100 of them to outrun Kyle today. We loosened our car about 2 stops ago trying to outrun Kyle. We were pretty sure we were going to run second if we didn't work on it. And we got it so loose that Ernie got by, so we've tightened him back up and hope we can do something with a 4 car. But right now, Kyle's in another galaxy from the rest of us. He's just awful stout.
What about pit stops where you only have to make one more?
Yeah, most everybody. Well, some guys come and got tires early, which I had to kind of question. But the guys up front will probably run long enough that they can go to the end on one more.
Bill Elliott and Harry Gann are both on pit road. The Budweiser Ford of Junior Johnson getting 4 tires. They were running second and third with Ernie Irvin the leader. At the time of the pit stop, Irvin has since come to pit road.
Well, you know, we saw Ernie Irvin go around the 6 car earlier, and we might have just had that answer. They loosened the 6 up of Mark Martin to try to let him run the 42. Now they see even with a loose race car, they can't do that, so they're tightening back up. Their concern now is to try to race the 4th position.
And we'll see what a difference that 1.5 second difference on pit road will mean for Ernie Irvin once everybody's back to speed after pit stops. The man right here, Kyle Petty, coming back up to the lead. He was the first name mentioned when it was announced Richard would retire this year as to who would fill the seat in the 43 car, but Kyle is staying right where he is with Felix Sabates. We don't know who'll drive for Richard. Immediately following today's race, the AC Delco Challenge Series of the American Speed Association, ASA, the Oldsmobile 400 today from Jennerstown, Pennsylvania. Only 18 points separate 6-time champ Mike Eddy, young lion Johnny Benson Jr. for the title. Will be decided right after the AC Delco 500 here on TNN. So stay with us on Motorsports Sunday here on TNN. It's Kyle Petty and Rick Mast, both on fresh tires, go underneath the Jasper Engines Ford of Ted Musgrave. Neil, buddy, I've heard everybody's name this year, including yours, as to who will drive for Richard Petty.
Richard and I made an agreement. We went on a Legends race not long ago, and he said he was going to hire somebody at least 10 years younger than he is.
Okay. 335 laps are complete, and Kyle Petty, after pit stops, is back in the lead by 6.5 seconds over Ernie Irvin, then Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, and Sterling Marlin. The rest of the top 10. We'll be right back.
With each new day, you find a way to be your best.
Gillette Sensor for the closest, safest shave ever.
You know you gotta be a little better than the rest.
Only Gillette Sensor has spring-mounted twin blades that sense and adjust to every detail of every face. Gillette Sensor, when you're the best, there's no feeling like it.
Gillette, the best a man can get.
Last year, Davey Allison added something new to his car. It wasn't wider tires or a slicker shape. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy, straight off the shelf, to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Davey the energy to lead more major NASCAR races than anyone last year and win this year's Daytona 500. But we're not saying it wasn't.
Boom! Dinner baskets at Burger King. It's a new concept. You gotta check it out. You get a choice of French fries or a baked potato. And a choice of a slaw or a salad. Only at Burger King. 4 to 8 where you get the table service. It's your way, right away. I love this place.
Three generations of Petties. The first two represent 10 national championships and maybe one in the making. Lee, Richard, and Kyle. The King in his final Rockingham ride. On last home state appearance, just 2 races remain. Phoenix and Atlanta. And I think it's starting to settle in on people that Richard Petty's career is fast coming to a close. It'll be kind of a bittersweet moment around the circuit.
Talk about Richard. Let's look at that shot in that picture of Kyle. He had a little bit shorter hair. The one just before that, the long hair Kyle, when he cut his hair last time, he broke his leg in Talladega. He's got some tie-in, he says, between running good and long hair. He keeps running like this, it's going to be on the ground before he cuts it.
10th place battle. Terry Labonte is once again battling Alan Kulwicki. 10th and 11th place.
That looks like Darrell Waltrip.
Now, Darrell's back in 19th place.
Yeah.
And there's 11th, Alan Kulwicki. He's just gone another lap down to Kyle Petty.
You know, if there's something to that hair deal, there's enough guys in that garage. They might not can catch him on that racetrack, but they can hold him on the ground and cut his hair off and see if that'll help. But Kyle's a pretty stout little kid. It'd be hard to handle.
Jimmy Spencer was running 7th, had a very long pit stop, almost 40 seconds. Fell to 16th position.
You know, that's funny, Neil. 10 years ago, a 40-second 4-tire change was about normal. Now, if you're over 19 seconds, it's just out of the ballpark.
Faster and faster. They work on the equipment they pit with. They work on looking at the pit stops over and over, how to correct them.
Now, here's an interesting story. Kenny Schrader spent a lot of time in the garage. They were going to put his car in the truck. He came back out here and just said ran about 20 laps. Went back to the garage. Looked like they changed everything on the car, and he's done that 3 or 4 times today. He can't be out there piling up points.
Well, maybe he's testing. You know, we were questioning. We're trying to find out what's going on down there. You know, it's you can't. If you're out to lunch, you try to get something to learn a little bit from it. They might just be trying a lot of different things to help themselves when they come back next year.
Well, Mike, there's one thing you can't do. You can come back here and test, but you can't have race conditions any other time than right now. So if they're testing, that's very smart.
Steve?
You know, guys, I feel like the Maytag repairman down here. I've got my tools and my uniform on, and nobody seems to want me. So I'm going to ask a question of Buddy and Neil. We've talked about the complete lack of cautions here. That has gotten to, I would think anyway, add to driver fatigue. These guys have not had 3 or 4 cautions to relax and unwind and maybe get a cramp out of a foot or an arm. Anything to that?
You bet it is. You seen Bodine when he come in, he said, "Phew, man, I'm tired. No caution, no time to really relax. And this racetrack, you drive hard down the straightaway. That's less than performance."
I'll tell you what, they're not. A driver is very seldom going to admit that if I'm tired. I guarantee you their tongue's hanging out now. They've been running a long time in these things, and they'd love. They don't want it to be their fault for a caution, but they'd love to see one right now.
There have only been 6 caution-free races in the modern era of NASCAR since the series was downsized to about 30 races a year in 1972. Only 6 races have gone caution-free. Let's give you a Napa Field standing update brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. 7th place will be Harry Gant, Brett Bodine, right at the moment. We'll show you that battle. There it is. Those cars are a lap down, and then after Dale Earnhardt, they're 3 laps down. Back around Kulwicki is, he's 2 down. Rick Mast is 3 down. So is Rusty. Then starting with Darrell Waltrip, these cars are 4 laps down.
Well, you mentioned Darrell there. Darrell's usually good on a slick racetrack like this. He's just off and can't get it going today.
John from New York called and asked if there was a tie for the points, how you determine the champion. If the points are tied, the driver who's won the most races gets the title. If they both won the same number of races, whoever has the most second place finishes and so on. And if you go down deep enough, you're going to break the tie. There cannot be co-champions.
If they go all the way to the bottom and had the same number of finishes, I guess we just quit.
Yeah.
That just doesn't happen.
No points for qualifying. The pole winner doesn't get any points like in IndyCar and some other series. 5 points if you lead a lap, 5-point bonus, 5 points if you lead the most laps for that one driver. And otherwise, the points drop 5 points per position for a while, and then 4, and then 3.
You know, Mike, every year about this time of the year, we hear people say, well, boy, the points should be done this way, or should it be done that way? Let's try this, let's try that. But how in the world could you line it up to where every season it comes down? Not this year, we got 6 guys in contention to win the championship. How could you alter it and keep it any closer than it is? It's a pretty good system.
A look at the North Carolina Motor Speedway from our Plasticoat copter. Plasticoat official spray paint of NASCAR, giving these aerial views today. As Kyle Petty runs them ragged around the rock. 6.5 seconds is lead right now.
You know, we keep talking about a caution, but Ernie Irvin and Mark Martin are running just as fast as Talbot. They've lost track position because he runs so fast in the first part of the race that if we had a caution, then we would really have some tight racing going on.
72 points would separate Davey Allison from Bill Elliott if the race ended right now. But still 140 laps to go.
Hi there, we're the Shockley family, and we'd like to invite you to join us Monday for Video Morning.
Yes, indeed. Even though we are at the racetrack this weekend where you will be enjoying live racing on TNN, we're going to be back home in the studio Monday. Will you please join us?
Right here on TNN.
From February to November, you follow the action. Every twist to every turn, from daybreak to heartbreak, till it all comes to an end. But it doesn't have to end. Hi, I'm Ned Jarrett, here to tell you about the official 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup book.
Tell it includes every race this season.
Bonded leather and packed with page after page of the best color action photography from every 1992 Winston Cup race.
Tell it has a special section on Richard Petty.
This book is truly a collector's edition, not sold in any stores. Once these are sold out, there will be no more.
Tell them they will be shipped in December, just in time for Christmas.
You'll sure beat that tie.
Hey, Ned, some fan give me this tie.
Unlike Benny's tie, your satisfaction is guaranteed with the Winston Cup book, or your money will be cheerfully refunded.
But you must order today. The 1992 edition is sure to sell out. It has every year.
And here's how to order.
Call 1-800-922-9287 or send $39.95 to NASCAR Winston Cup 92, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28230. That's 1-800-922-WCUP.
Richard Petty with brother Morris, the chief, and the engine builder for many of Richard's 200 victories. Morris's son Richie, named for guess who, trying to make his own mark behind the wheel. There's the king, his final North Carolina appearance.
Best I can tell, he's been through 8 sets of tires and 14 towels.
2 weeks from yesterday, Saturday night, November 14th, Alabama, Joe Diffie, a lot of us from TNN, and some surprises await you live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. From the Georgia Dome, Alabama salutes Richard Petty one night before his final drive behind the wheel. Saturday night, November 14th, join us at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
You know, all season long, we've talked about that last race and what it's going to be like. It's going to be unique when he climbs it up there for the last time. And that's just it. He's just been here so long and done so much for the sport. I'll tell you, it's going to be tough to not come and see Richard Petty race.
You know, Richard knows something about close point finishes. In 1979, with 2 races to go, only 8 points separated he and Darrell Waltrip. as the King notched his 7th and final Winston Cup championship.
One thing about Richard, this is the only relaxation he's had in the past couple of months is when he's racing. You know, they just flock him everywhere he goes. Everybody's all over him. He says this is the only time he actually relaxes.
Look at the cars out of the race so far. We went to do an interview with Richard for that Richard Petty, the final ride special that you'll see on TNN next Sunday just before the Phoenix race. We had the time all booked with Richard, and we walked in. Here's another TV crew all set up, ready to do this, you know, just one on top of another deal.
Yeah, you know, but I don't think that'll end when he quits driving.
No.
I think he's such a dominant factor in this sport that even though he's not driving, the ownership and his involvement, I don't think they'll ever leave Richard Petty alone.
He's going to find out what cutthroat is, too, when he becomes a car owner instead of a driver. I thought drivers were bad. They're nothing compared to car owners.
Look at the windshield and look at the sun. Talk about glare. That's in Richard's car. Well, Richard is certainly the king of stock car racing. And if the crown is to be passed, here's a young fellow making a good case for it.
I tell you what, in the past 3 months, Kyle Petty's racing team have really come together, and I think they've been dominant. You know, they come so close to winning the Winston and Charlotte. They've been right up front every race, and I tell you what, he's passing the baton to a guy that's ready for it.
He's led all but 8 laps today and has lapped all but Ernie Irvan and Mark Martin. We're up to 9 lead changes, but they've all happened when Kyle Petty has pitted. The only car I've seen pass him all day on the racetrack was Bill Elliott trying to get a lap back.
And he was fighting for that lap really tough, and it might have been a situation Kyle wasn't that concerned about holding back.
Steve?
You're looking at John Wilson. He is the engine builder for the 42 car, and Kyle Petty. And he stands there for the entire duration of the event. I know how my legs ache on Monday morning, and I get to walk around. I can imagine what John must feel like. Now, he times every lap, and he talks to Kyle a bit, but what he really dreads is any sign of smoke coming out of the automobile, because that's his product. That's what he builds in shop for Sabco Racing. And by the way, Felix, since you've been in the hospital, they stole the fighting chair off of your fishing yacht so John would have something a little more comfortable to stand on.
I don't see the fishbowl. They're going fishing after that bonus money today.
I tell you, the only problem, Felix owns enough boats that they can spare that one right there, I promise you. He's got a big boat company down in Florida, and looks like they hijacked one of them right there.
Kyle Petty trying to win Pontiac's only 2nd race of this season. He won one at Watkins Glen. This battle we've been watching most of the day. Right now it's for 7th place.
22 car in the 7th car of Harry Gann.
Make that 6th place. Brett Bodine's back there just behind them. 6th place.
I guarantee any one of these guys will likely get close enough to somebody to race. Like Buddy says, when you're racing another car, the time goes by pretty well. When you're sitting here, no cautions, just lap after lap of green racing, and nobody around you, boy, it makes a long day if they're ready to get after somebody.
Now that 22 car, as we mentioned, Junior's car will have 27 on it next year with McDonald's. Maxwell House will stay in with 22. And the rumor right now, and it's only a rumor, is that they'll sponsor either the Bobby Allison team or the Bill Davis team moving up to Winston Cup Racing. More on that later. It's Alan Kulwicki making a stop.
All that rubber used to be on somebody's tires.
That's about $1,000 worth of rubber they just scraped off that grill.
They need to make a racing tire green because it costs a lot of money. If you see them doing that, you ought to at least be able to see a serial number or something come off there, don't you think, Neil?
Yeah, he's smoking it. When he's talking about that clutch problem he had, I mean, that transmission, he's having to just light them up and leave. That's the only way to get out of there with the 2nd gear.
Darrell Waltrip to the stop. Darrell back in 21st place. Here's your top 10 after 368 laps. We'll be right back to Rockingham.